Once upon a time, in the Chuffin near dark and darker forest, there lived two kinds of kids. The brother were named Hazel. The sister were named Gracie. They lived with their father were to be right good at cutting sticks. When the kids were wise such as normal, the bloomin' father had plenty of work to do, right, and there were always food in the Chuffin fridge, right. Sadly, the mother had died earlier because being murdered by a black killer in K. Jordan, right, and they also had a new stepmother Hazel who were being cruel, greedy, and nasty. What the Chuffin crap are you doing, messing all of the silly games again? Asked question mark. You didn't know you're to play stupid games. Now go and make yourself full. Go and cut some wood. And you're to kids, go to bed. Blimey. You're just a nonsense, shouted the Chuffin stepmother Hazel. Cor blimey guff, would I lie to you? Hazel and Gracie were at a supper. Do what, governor? Supper, then, squire. There's no food in the house. Noise. Do as I say. Go to bed. Honest guff. If I know what's be right good for you. Right. And you haven't sold any wood for weeks. Your horrible kids are eating out of me. But the father pleaded and pleaded with his Hazel, but she were right persuade. Her mind were been made out. She ranted so much, he gave him agreed to make his wish. I'll get out me stoons. If they stay with me, right, we will won't starve for us. Then take them into the woods tomorrow, right, and please make sure you come hammer and tack us alone, replied stepmother Hazel. Cor blimey guff, would I lie to you? Hazel and Gracie overheard what were being said. Cor blimey guff. Hazel has a clever plan, and she opened his bedroom window and climbed out and spot into the Chuffin light. He filled his pockets with away stones and the crept hammer and tacked to his room. Right. The next morning, right, stepmother Hazel has an eating hurt, right, the father took Hazel and Gracie to the edge of the woods. These animals seem to kids walk in the woods. I wonder where them free kids are gone off to, said the bleeding rabbit. This must be gone into the woods for a picnic, said the bloody snowshoe hare. I bet there's some animals in there. Cor blimey guff. Didn't they know how they look like a country code? Asked question mark. The country code is the which Spongered plans to hear an earlier fire learned on the gingerbread ooze, explained the bloomin' doll's ooze. Don't go in with you. Deeper and deeper in the woods they went. Every often, right, Hazel dropped one of some stones on the ground to leave a trail. Eventually, they're sitting down to rest. Hazel and Gracie had tired and they fallen asleep. The father crept silently and crept sorely. As the bloody woodcutter planned, right, ain't you been cut by a stick with his end? Cor blimey guff, would I lie to you? And he escaped away safely. Do what, governor? At the night time, Hazel and Gracie started to wake up, and started to unhappy. We're all alone. Right. We will never find a way away, cried Gracie. They followed the trail of stones until at last they reached Ome safely. The father were so happy to see him again, and the stepmother Hazel, as which Hazel, were right furious. The Chuffin hell are you doing hammer and tack there? Blimey. I have already sent out of your room. Struth. You'll later sleep in the barn, and in the morning, you will go hammer and tack into the bleeding woods to seek your fortune. Let's hope if a big bad wolf or a bad bear is meeting you up for dinner time. You wretched kiddies. Honest guff, sweared strongly stepmother Hazel, and sent off kids to barn. Stepmother Hazel locked Hazel and Gracie in the barn. It were right dark and noisy. Birds toot out in a distance. There is no lightin'. Insects buzzing in the drafters. Spiders spinning webs in the Chuffin corners. The whistling trees are sadly. An owl toot down his gun nearby. Hazel and Gracie were cold and gray and they couldn't sleep. Suddenly, Hazel and Gracie heard a strange tinkling sound and were seen a light. It were some fairies carrying light lanterns. Oh, what odds are we there, to kiddies? Asked question mark. What you're doing in the bloomin' barn? Explained the fairy. Cor blimey guff. And after all, right, it's me birthday and I decided there came here for me knees up. And she sings happy birthday. And doing a dancing jig. And after the bleeding knees up, Hazel and Gracie fell asleep earlier. In the chuffin' morning, right, the chuffin' father and the bleedin' stepmother Hazel woke them up. Wake up, you lazy lancers. We're all now gone to the bloody woods for a nice picnic. Make sure we'll truly cop lost this time. Tell her stepmother Hazel. They went down to the chuffin' woods. So often, Hazel dropped a piece of bread. They followed the bloomin' trail hammer and tack home. Corblimey guff, would I lie to you? But they didn't notice that some of them pigeons were following them. The witch who has named N.K. which is an evil wicked monster unavailable them. Two unders came and Gracie thinks is the bleedin' way away. But how can we swim across? Said Hazel. Corblimey guff, would I lie to you? Yay up, why don't yer just go swimming across the water? Said Gracie. It's too deep to swim, said the hunter. Why don't yer just wade across? Said Hazel. I'll get out me spoons. But how we can wade there? Said Gracie. It can't wade there, right? They need a boat. I'll get out me spoons. The boat needs to swim here and but some animals will disappear, replied the hunter. But he rent Hazel and Gracie his boat, and they crossed the river. The two kids were still trying to find the way away. They're right hungry and right tired. They were still straight up lost. Whilst Hazel and Gracie went to see the bright sparkly, right, the bloody north and south swattered. The walls is made of gingerbread. There tasted it. The bloomin' roof were made of chocolate. Even flowers were made of lollipops. Hazel and Gracie had a feast. N.K. which came. But the bloody N.K. which used a spell to lock two kids in a corner of right prison. It were just there were being unavailable through Jordan's crew. Hazel and Gracie felt round, right, but there is no escape. Every day, right, N.K. which eats them a bit of candies, cream cakes, and cheeseburgers. One day, the bloody rabbit crept out while N.K. which were not looking at it. N.K. which been psych member. She inspected two kids each day to see if they're too fat or cook. Crap, that's just skull skin and bone. Honest guff. Tonight, right, it will be making boy burgers with toenail sauce for tea. Let's cop the bleedin' oven ready. N.K. which's oven door is being stuck. Gracie, what did she were be told? Soon as N.K. which opened the bloomin' oven door, Gracie gave N.K. which a big push onto a loaf of bread and shoulders were stuck in fast. In a big rage, she were burning up and ran out the house with the oven on N.K. which's head. So Hazel and Gracie ran into the garden, and bumped into the bleedin' rabbit's back. I'll get out me spoons. But she made an earlier accident. Time to go me fellas and girls, but take this. It's made of bag of gold when the witch is burning away in a garden. But I dungeon up for yer. Now run away. Quickly asked the bleedin' rabbit. Hazel and Gracie pops the bloomin' hole onto the bloody ground, and ran away early. Me poor kiddies. How I were wish they would come home safe and sound. But stepmother Hazel, also known as, right, Jordan, has had to be dead by now. I never spot my two kids again, said the chuffin' father, right, and fall into the chuffin' tears of father's eye and will be were crying. Hazel and Gracie hammer and tack home. They will ever loved the father and his own truff of gold. Father gave them out of a surprise. That's the end of a story. The stepmother Hazel had died and now they lived happily ever after. They had N.K. the witch's gold and now they were rich. There always still food on the fridge, and the bloomin' father never had to cut the fire sticks. The creatures and animals gathered round the happy fairy tale. I'll get out me spoons. The end.